Alright, let's try and get this thing set up. Wait. There's a reason why that bad boy is off. This is totally amazing. And there's a reason why, believe it or not, even old books from way back in 2009 and 2003 have come back out respectively. Just on a quick side note, though, we have managed to do a few repairs on some other stuff. There we are. So, Jamie, this one is for you. Boom, boom. Let's go with that. Those two Kindles are up and running. And just before we get into the real bulk of this, our battery faulted medium tab is also up and running. You watch this now, not power on. Come on, dare you. There we are, we're just going to leave that off to sort of one side there to do what it has to. Alright, okay. So this whole deal is to do with the CEH examination that I've got potentially coming up soon. And a few people were saying, well, it's not that difficult, huh? Well, it depends on what you're defining as difficulty. Is the CEH hard? Is it hard to become a certified ethical hacker? Well, the answer to this is yeah, basically. You're going to have to cram, and you're going to have to cram hard. The parameters are basically about 10 years of various knowledge and at least 2 years of working in the field. Plus, you're probably going to have to know a whole great deal of electronics as well. And even I still only struggle to hit around 80 or 90% on the test. Let's cover a few of these questions. Let's go for a select few. This will explain why that screen is off as well, because I'm due to move a server over there. Actually, because I'm going to need it for a lot of other stuff. Alright, how are we going to do this? Let's show you the question. Step 1. User browses a web page. Okay. Step 2. Web server replies spit cigarette out, that's good. Web server replies with request a page and sets a cookie on the user's browser. Step 3. Attacker steals cookie, either sniffing XSS or phishing attack, whichever. Yada yada yada. Step 4. Attacker orders for product. What? Well, that's worded wrong, but okay. Using modified cookie. And step 5. Product is delivered to the attacker's address. There it is. Okay, and this is from ceh.cagey.org. Okay. So, identified a web application attack. The key here is to look at basically what was said. And it's really simple. In that case, it was cookie. So do we just simply say it was a cookie attack? No. We don't, Because there's a lot of other stuff that's potential in terms of answers, but not really relevant here. Is it a session fixation attack? Well, no, because we've not fixated the session at all. There's no session fixing going on, whatever. Unvalidated redirect attack? No, because you are valid for the fact that you nicked the cookie. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. So, was it denial of service attack? No, and I'm going to tell you why in another video. It was cookie poisoning. That was your answer. So, okay, here's another one for you. Risks equals threat times vulnerability is referred to as what? Well, the answer here is one of four. It's either BIA equation, disaster recovery formula, risk equation, or threat assessment. And this is interesting. Well, there's a clue to be had here. Risk equals threat times vulnerability, as you'll see. We already know the answer, but I pretty much need to explain it. Okay, so threat times a vulnerability, but if you had a vulnerability plus a threat, you minus the risk, well, then you would have a risk equation. So it's almost, in a way, like, is it V equals I over R? But anyway, it's a risk equation. BIA equation is, bullshit in automation. Disaster recovery is irrelevant in this case because you're not recovering from a disaster. A disaster recovery formula is after the fact. In threat assessment, you wouldn't be engaging at that kind of level. You would be doing that, well, separately, basically. This is all about risk assessment, and it's the risk equation. That's it. Okay, here's the next one for you. An attacker, so go from there. I won't show you the answer yet. I'm going to read it to you and then show you the answer. An attacker is trying to redirect the traffic of a small office. Traffic meaning web traffic, not car traffic. That office is using their own mail server, DNS server, and NTP server because of the importance of their job. Plausible. That, I must say, is plausible, particularly in high-end institutions. It may be, and this is a digression point from the question, may well be because of the prominence of what they are or what they do. But okay, digression point ended. The attacker gained access to DNS server and redirection to, well, in this case, it says google.com to their own IP. It could be any address, so I'll throw that one out there, to their own IP address. Now, when the employees of the office want to go to either Google or whatever site, they're being redirected to the attacker's machine. What is the name of this kind of attack? Is it MAC flooding? Well, no. MAC would apply to media access control. not relevant in this case in terms of what's being described. Smurf attack is entirely exactly as full of smurf. And ARP poisoning isn't even relevant in this case. It would indeed be DNS spoofing. The answer we got right. You're basically copying, and well, you're not copying so much, you're just pretending to be that other address. A good way to actually answer this would be MITM, or man in middle, something like that. I mean, yeah, man in middle attack would be about right for that. You're trying to get someone to go there, go through you, but it could be direct. Could, open-ended, but DNS spoofing would be the way to go. That's what it would be known as. Next question. Let's cover the answer for you. I already know these. I've already studied this. Ching ching. Right, Rebecca commonly sees an error on her Windows system. Well, there's her problem. She's running Windows, which is why I'm now not. Yeah, I'm kidding. Let's start this again. Rebecca commonly sees an error on her Windows system that states a data execution prevention, or DEP, error has taken place. Which of the following is most likely taking place? Okay, let's start with the wrong ones. D, malware is executing in either ROM or a cache memory area. No, because operating system level that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, okay. See, race condition is being exploited and the operating system is containing malicious process. Well, no. You would have thought that that would have been solved anyway. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Here we go. This condition is being exploited and the operating system is containing malicious. Well, no. The operating system isn't containing it. Because if the operating system was containing the malicious process, you wouldn't get an error to begin with. It would just be simply unobserved. B, a page fault's occurring, which forces the operating system to write data from the hard drive. No. Because there's not a page fault. And nothing's being written to the hard drive anyway. The simple answer is malicious code is attempting to execute instruction in non-executable memory region. The simple answer is might well be. Oh, God, hang on a minute, I'll have to deal with that. But probably the application that's trying to attempt it to be launched probably doesn't even exist there anyway. Maybe, but there's some other kind of issue. Attempting to execute instruction. Non-executable memory region. So in other words, there's nothing there to be run, but the system's still trying to run it, and there's nothing there. So it's like me trying to tell you to speak German, or Russian, or Chinese, or some other language, and you don't even have any idea on how to do it. You're going to throw me an error. That's basically, in short, what's happening. Now, one of my favourite questions is this one. If you won't be able to see that. There you are. This is where legal framework comes in. And why, as a certified ethical hacker, certainly my case is soon to be accredited, why you need to be up on the law and why GDPR is a thing. Gonna cover this now. This is a big, big thing. And believe it or not, a lot of people can fall foul of this without even knowing. Because it's the ability and the availability to give up information. Ding ding. Let's hit it. Let's smash the question. Let's go deal with it. Alright. Lawful Intercept is a process that enables a law enforcement agency, LEA, to perform electronic surveillance on a target as authorized by judicial or administrative order. Right. Translate this into normal language. Lawful intercept means that police have a right to investigate you. Right. And that allows them through a court, right, or mandated through a court, to look at your records and what you have electronically. And that's verified by a court. Okay. Which of the following statement is true for lawful intercept? Let's look at the wrong answers first. Let's start with D. Alters traffic. Well, if it comes down to web traffic, no. Because by the very definition, that would fall foul of the CMA, the Computer Misuse Act. You can't alter or impede the functions of any computer system external to what you have permission to do. That would be a crime in itself, at least here in the UK. D. Allows wiretaps only for outgoing communication. Well, in this case, that would be completely pointless. Why would you only allow a wiretap for outgoing communication when you could have something inbound? Yeah, that point, therefore, in terms of the answer potential, is rendered useless. C. Does not allow multiple LEAs to run a lawful intercept on the same target without each other's knowledge. Again, bullshit. If you get a court order against you, or your police service or law enforcement agency, it absolutely allows you to share that information with other agencies. And they can apply to a court to do the same thing. Without each other's knowledge? Irrelevant fact, to be honest with you. That's irrelevant because they would be sharing it, hence why Interpol and Europol and Maripol, whoever, are a thing. The only answer here is B. Hides information about lawful intercepts from all but the most privileged users. That would be in line with GDPR and in relation to international data protection regulations. Only the people relevant to see this would see it, and that's only in relation to an investigation. There is absolutely no way that your information should be leaked to an outside. It's as simple as that. Alright, so we're going to move on. This is one of my favourites. Denial of service, or DOS, is an attack on a computer or network that prevents legitimate use of its resources. of course. In a DOS attack, attackers flood a victim system with non-legitimate service requests or traffic to overload its resources, which prevents it from performing its intended tasks. Which of the following is a symptom of a DOS attack? What we're going to do in a minute is we're going to do a little bit of a funny demonstration. In fact, actually, yeah, we'll do it now. Right, basically, what we need to do is flood our server with a particular set of instructions, or what does it say? Yeah, to prevent use of resources. Okay. In this scenario, the phone is going to send this tablet a request. You'll probably not be able to see it. We're not actually going to start this thing up. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we are. Whatever. I'm going to send that tablet a request. That would be legitimate. But in the case of denial of service, I've got a separate tablet that I need to stop from being able to communicate with the server. So all I do is I keep sending requests from point A to point B, and this thing now can't communicate with that. A better example of explaining this would be if you're the bartender, all right, and you work at the bar, and I want to get myself a beer, and I ask you for a beer. You'll serve me a beer. I've got a whole bunch of guys behind me that want beer. Well, I'll just simply ask you for 1,000 beers then. You'll be busy serving me the beer. Everyone else behind me is denied. And that's essentially what denial of service is. The simple answer is unavailability, in this case, of a potential or particular website, simply because it's request flooded. The server can't simply handle it and will fall offline. And that's in a sort of kind of crude, really weird, sort of socially acceptable way of trying to put it. I'm probably wrong on it, but whatever. Denial of service is exactly that. I'm just stopping cop blocking, whatever. Right. Enumeration is defined as the process of extracting usernames, machine names, network resources, shares, and services from a system. Which of the following command can be used in Unix environment to enumerate shared directories on a machine? Well, our PC client won't do that. Our PC info won't. Finger is irrelevant, so correct answer is showman. That's the same thing. Here's another one. Firewalls are categorized into two things, which they are, namely hardware firewall and software. You may have seen me discuss this briefly, actually, just before we complete the question, when it came to that home broadband router. Well, you can actually get software stuff that will do that on your computer as well, if you wanted to hardwire your computer into a phone line, which I wouldn't recommend you do. That being said, let's proceed. Identify the correct statement for a software firewall. We already know the answer. Let me show you the question because I answered it correctly. Let's start with A. software firewall is placed between the desktop and software components of the operating system. That's not true. Desktop and software components. How are you going to do that then? Okay, unless you're running a laptop, that's going to be pretty difficult. Unless, of course, you've got other dedicated hardware for it, or other parameters. Okay. B. Software firewall is placed between the router and networking components of the operating system. Well, you remember in that previous video when I did that whole router discussion, and you imagine now that box that I would have here. Okay. So that would be placed between there and the networking components of the operating system, which, say for argument's sake, is here. Well, that's not software then, that would be hardware. And that is not appropriate and is essentially rendered BS in this case. Unless, of course, it was a hardware question for your Cisco thing, or CCNA or CCNP, or OSCA or OSWP. Swing it. Flash any geek sign you want. Alright, next one. Software firewall is placed between the antivirus application and IDS components of the operating system. No, because you would just simply install a software firewall for that. It's at application level anyway, and that's it, period. The software firewall communicates with external hardware and interfaces directly with the software application. Proven the answer. Software firewall is placed between normal application and networking components of the operating system. No other involvement whatsoever. You can look at that yourself. You can do that in Windows, you can do that in Linux. You can use various applications for that. I don't want to assist the bad guys. Or whatever, but you can look at that. Alright. Should we go into this? Scan split into packets. Yeah, we can do. Alright. This is simple, basic English on that one. You are a penetration tester. Of course I am, baby. Penetration. For the nation. And are assigned to scan a server. Scan many, if I need to. Legally. You need to use the scanning technique wherein the TCP header is split into many packets, so that it becomes difficult to detect what the packets are meant for. Which of the below scanning techniques will you use? Dude, this is easy. This comes down to wording. The header is split. This is the point. You split something. It's pretty much that. You split. If you, I don't know, hypothetically threw a grenade, well, it's not going to split. It's going to frag, isn't it? Enough said. So it's not going to be flag scanning or TCP scanning. It's not inverse TCP flag scanning. It's bullshit. IP fragment scanning is the answer you're looking for. That's it. You're splitting it into different packets. And again, I'm not going to teach you how to do that. Naughty, naughty. You don't need to know that. Next question. Oh, good old Chandler. Oh, Chandler's back. Come on, show yourself. There he is. Alright. Chandler works as a pen tester. He doesn't test biros. He does what I do. Probably not. In an IT firm in New York. That sounds like Chandler or Friends, actually, to be fair. Probably could be. As a part of detecting viruses in the system, he uses a detection method where the antivirus executes malicious codes on a virtual machine to simulate CPU and memory activities. Gets interesting. Which type of virus detection method did Chandler use in this context? Well, again, there's a key word. Executes the malicious codes on a virtual machine to simulate. That's the word you're looking for. What's another word to simulate? It's to emulate. It's to copy. So it's not going to be heuristic analysis or integrity checking, because you're not checking for any integrity and you're not scanning. It's just simply code emulation. Just replicating code. That's it. To work on one thing, then synthesized on another. Or in the case of a virtual machine. It's as easy as that. If you know about VMs, you'll know this. Don't even need to explain that. Let's go and pick up a few easy ones. Now, here's where your old electronics comes in handy, actually. So for all people that say, oh, well, CEH is easy, you don't need the old knowledge. Well, you're about to go and eat a load of horse manure, to be honest with you. If you look at that question, if you're going to be a sick, probably not. Yeah, maybe not. It reads along the lines of, which of the following antennas is commonly used in communications for a frequency band of 10 megahertz to VHF and UHF? Well, is A, omnidirectional antenna, B, dipole antenna, D, parabolic grid antenna, or C, a Yagi? Yeah, this is why the parameters of entering these exams are pretty stringent in the first place. Because you're gonna damn well need to know this stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into the context of these books. A parabolic grid antenna? Well, you need to only look at what the word parabola means, and that's a dish. No. A dipole, no, and an omnidirectional, no. Yagi is your answer, and it's the same thing that you would find on that frequency on the roof of your house. It's as simple as that. Go and open your eyes and look outside. That's it. That's it. At that point, yeah, your knowledge in older systems is going to help. This is why with CH you need these years of experience. That's why it's a thing. This is why, yeah, it's kind of a 70 grand a year job if you nail the exam. which I think we've pretty much already done, but it's a formality now. Next one, which we already passed. Which of the following is the structure designed to verify and authenticate the identity of individuals within the enterprise taking part in data exchange? Well, it's not going to be a single sign-on. It's not biometrics. It'll be PKI. That's it. The next one is almost comedy, but it still needs to be featured. What does the -O X flag do in an mmap scan? Well, it doesn't perform an Xmas scan, and it doesn't perform an express scan, and it doesn't output the results in truncated format to the screen. The key, O and then X, output X, and that's in the format. Straight up, outputs it XML format. Job done. Alright. Was this one? Yeah, the collection of potentially actionable, overt and publicly available information is known as what? Real intelligence? No, not really. It's not social intelligence. If it's out there in the open, it's not any of that, and it's not human intelligence. The answer would just simply be open source. Because it's available, it's open source, it's freely available. Which is why I don't use Facebook, for the record. Do we go into this one? I'm just going to gloss over these now real quick, because time's getting on. Right. A regional bank hires your company to perform, or me, to perform a security assessment on their network after a recent data breach. Call for them, shit bank. The attacker was able to steal financial data from the bank by compromising only a single server. Bad bank, shit server. That's one hit. Discretion point. Based on this information, what should be one of your key recommendations to the bank? Well, I wouldn't bank with you. Funny. The wrong one would be issue new certificates to the web servers from the root certificate authority. Irrelevant. You wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't. C, move financial data to another server on the same IP subnet. Really? So you're going to reinfect yourself, essentially? Yeah. Potentially. Or at least enable another opening on the new server. Yeah, you wouldn't. B, require all employees to change their passwords immediately. Dude, anybody working at a bank should be... In fact, everybody should be changing their passwords regularly. I change mine all the time. I'm not going to tell you how often, but I do. And indeed, we've even got stuff stored in here for that purpose. Yeah, you're not getting to that. The simple answer is A, place a front-end web server in a demilitarized zone that only handles external web traffic. Well, that's easy. Bank is there. You, God, I'm going to try and demonstrate that. You're there, you're external, you're legitimate here. You've got rights to access it. You've got rights to access it. You've got rights to access it. You haven't. There's another dedicated server somewhere over there that you have to go through, which is separate from all of that. Thank you very much. That's called a dedicated server. If I wanted to honeypot that, then I could make something look like it's that. Well, yeah, never mind that. Oh, why is this even necessary to explain? Alright. Next one, let's try and move through this quickly. You're attempting to man in the middle assertion. Okay. What session is that? Which protocol will allow you to guess a sequence number? Well, that's TCP. It's almost certainly transfer control protocol. Almost certainly. Moving on. Here's one of my favourites. Wi-Fi Protected Access, or WPA, is a data encryption method for wireless local area networks based on 802.11 standards. ABGN, whatever, is irrelevant. It improves on the authentication and encryption features of web, which we've just covered, wireless encryption privacy. Temporal Key Integrity Protocol, TKIP, enhances web by adding a rekeying mechanism to provide flash encryption and integrity keys. Temporal keys are changed for how often? Well, the answer is always 10,000 packets. I was playing around with web way back in 2010. I know that, and I know the tools that I was mucking around with back then. You could have found that on Backtrack 5 if you knew where to look. There was Backtrack 5R3 that actually had tools for that. You can still find these nowadays. You could also use other things which I won't go into. I'm going to do some old promotional videos in regards to this and upload some of the old stuff just to kind of show you what I mean. Stay tuned for that. Here's another funny one, and then we better wrap up soon. Which of the following Wi-Fi chalking methods? Well, that's interesting. They've already given the answer before actually giving the answer. Love it. Which of the following Wi-Fi chalking methods refers to drawing symbols in public places to advertise open Wi-Fi network? Wall walking? No. War flying? Now, war flying is something I'm going to cover at a later date. That's to do with drones and irrelevant here. War driving isn't. There's many definitions in that, but war chalking, they gave the damn answer. And this gets easy now. Which of the following is the successor of SSL? Secure Sockets Layers, TLS anyway. Well, we knew that. Right, this tool is an 802.11 WEP and WPA PS keys cracking program that can recover keys. Once enough data has been processed, yada yada yada. Okay, which of tools is being described? Well, it would be Aircrack NG. I'll show you how that works. Maybe one day if you're lucky. Right. This is the big one. This is why pen testers and people like me do what we do, and why, yet again, we hit the right answer. Unfortunately, my raw score dropped to 67%, which is incorrect, but whatever. Alright, what is the role of test automation in security testing? Well, I'm going to tell you that. Let's look at the wrong answers. A, it's an option. But tends to be very expensive. Really? Test automation is expensive? Do you mean like when you lay humans off to build cars using machines? Yeah, this is why you hire a cyborg to do your stuff, because it's cheaper. Right, so yeah, that's kind of irrelevant and stupid. B, it should be used exclusively. Really? What, automation? Doesn't allow any variables for failure. They go on to say on answer B, manual testing is outdated because of low spend and possible test setup inconsistencies. Yeah. BS. Well, how do you test the security of your systems without actually doing it manually? Sort of comes down to a paradox there. You couldn't arrive at that conclusion that way, so it's stupid. C. Test automation is not usable in security due to the complexity of the test. Are you ridiculous? Test automation is not usable in security due to the complexity. Well, that's ridiculous because, dude, doesn't automation actually reduce the need of complexity? Yeah, so that one is complete tosh in its sense. If you can't answer that correctly, then maybe your usage of sort of grammar and life functions might need to be reviewed. Test automation is not usable in security due to the What? If it's automated, why would it be complex? It wouldn't for you, and it couldn't, only for the standpoint of the machine that's doing it, which, yeah, would bring you back to the point that it should be used exclusively manually. Dumb question, but not really. D was the correct answer. It can accelerate benchmark tests, which is why you see what I do on my servers, which is why you see what I mess around with. That being said, I repeat them with a consistent test setup. Yes, I can if I want to automate. That's what we do. However, it cannot replace manual testing completely. There's a reason for that. Because of so many variables. It's like with whatever you see on this channel. I never know how things are going to go. This is why you need people like myself who understand this. This is why this is a minimum of 70 grand a year job. Because if it wasn't, ethical hackers, astronauts, and people like that would be 10 a penny. Which brings us to the question, is the CEH easy? No. It's only as easy as the knowledge and the time you put in. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, all you're doing is kidding yourself. Let's just move on. And this finally is where we're probably going to leave this tonight, actually, because I want to enjoy my weekend. I've got some stuff to do. Alright, let's look at this. An IT employee got a call from one of our best customers. Well, good for them. Good for him and good for her or whoever too. The caller wanted to know about the company's network, infrastructure, systems and team. Wow. If somebody... Alright, I'm going to hold this now. If somebody asked me about that, I'm going to be like, who are you kidding? Who the hell are you kidding about that? I'll put them on hold, actually, and refer that to other investigations, but whatever. Alright. New opportunities, however, this is part of the question. New opportunities of integration are in sight for both company and customer. What should the employee do? And this is interesting, actually, because this could come about even in your job. I'm going to give you the answer. Ain't what you think it is, though. Some people will answer A. The employees cannot provide any information, but anyway, he or she will provide the name of the person in charge. Well, congratulations then. You've just breached GDPR. You're going to get nicked for that. Or sued. Some other funny shit will happen. But if you divulge information like that, you'll probably almost certainly get fired. And B, since the company's policy is all about customer service, she'll provide the information. Wow! So you're going to tell me then in that, basically, if a caller wanted to know about network infrastructure systems and team, an option was to just give it up. Okay, you might as well just have a hacker on the inside then. The dark guy on the inside, the black hat, the criminal on the inside, because that's basically what's happened. They're just going to cough it. In which case, then, you can throw billions at this sort of stuff, but you want to foul up, you've just put a human in there who's just coughed all the details of that. I'll get sick of this video now. I need to get through this. Alright. C. Disregard the call. The employee should hang up. Yeah, but the question said new opportunities of integration are in sight for both customer and company. If you do that, you're going to scare either one or both off. No. In short, the employee should not provide any information without previous management authorization. True. How I would handle this is simple. I would instruct my employee, if you were working for my business, I would say, right, certain specific questions, direct it to me, you tell the forward-facing customer, I need to relay this to another manager, I need to get back in touch with you. Can I get a number off of you? I'm not qualified to answer this question. I need to talk to you at a later date. Do you have some way that I can write to you or confirm anything with you that can be relayed to my manager as well, or anyone superior? Anything other than that would be a breach of business, pretty much all levels actually. Just for me, though, if, well, I was your manager, I would look after you. I'd just simply say, right, here's the parameters that you go by. Anybody asking you for this information, transfer the call to me. That potentially comes under social engineering, which we're going to look at in another one. Right, do we even discuss IP addresses or whatever? No. Okay. I think we're going to wrap it in. This has been an hour. It's covered some of the basics. I'm going to cover some of the other fun stuff at a later one. But, yeah, just leave you with that question that we got right. If you want to read that, read it yourself. Answer it yourself. Well, you probably answer it the same way. If you're up on IP addresses and TCP over IP, then yeah, you want to go and pay attention to that. I'm done with this. I need to go off and enjoy my weekend because I've got a lot of time ahead. I need to study. I've got a server to move over here and all. Another one. Because I've got to start doing stuff with SQL, Oracle, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So what was over there has now got to start moving over here. And yeah, it'll free up that workbench. God knows how this is going to go. Until then, people, love you lots. Thanks for staying subscribed. Hopefully this has demonstrated some of my knowledge on the CEH. Version 11 actually came out the day that I had my implants done. Fun fact, I was born on that day and all. There's a fun fact for you. If that wasn't fate, what is? That being said, I'm out of here. Catch you later. Love you lots. Wish me luck on that exam when it happens. And luck on fixing that. Till next time. I'm out of here. Catch you later.